So, before I start the video, hello the extra 20 people that subscribe to my channel after me not doing anything for like a fucking week. Like, what the fuck? Hope you enjoy. How? Yeah, I'm just gonna go off screen. Also, this is not going to age well if I get like hundreds of thousands in my life. Probably not, but it will probably age poorly. So, let's go. Hello, and welcome. This is going to be one of those interesting ones where I just talk about a random topic because I've been thinking about it since like Wednesday, and it is now the Saturday that I'm recording this on. So, mainly, thought of this at like 5 a.m. when I was waking up to get overtime at work, because, you know, we're stupidly busy at work right now. But while I was buttering my bagel, I was just like thinking about this. And if you read the title, you'd probably be thinking, okay, weird. And that is, this video is essentially me talking about the pros and cons of like a long form series and a shorter form series, and what I feel is a good way to think about them, because there are some good shorter series. There's also some really bad shorter series that could go on longer, but there's also really good long form series, but there's also really bad long-form series, and I wanted to have this conversation with you people to see what you lovely, lovely folks think about this topic. So, let's get into it. Now, obviously I'm talking about manga because I have a shit ton of it. The main thing is that, one, when I'm talking about a long-form series, I'm talking about a series that is usually more than 5 or between, I want to say like about 10 or more volumes. That's what I usually think of a long form series. Granted, some shorter form series aren't actually getting to that point. There's a middle gray area, but usually what I'm thinking about for a long form series is way over 10, and we're talking about like maybe 20, 30, somewhere around there, but it can be like 19 to that. But then the shorter ones I'm talking about are usually like the 3-volume series or the 1-volume series that are short, sweet, and to the point. But each of them have their own little unique pros to them, as well as their own unique cons. Each having these means that you have a different sort of experience, and each of them have their own little quirks to them. So, yes, I think that's enough explaining what my thought process is for this exact video. So let's get into more talking about. Let's start with shorter. Now then, shorter formed manga series are usually where I think are like maybe 1 to 5-ish. Usually where I see the shorter ones going. There are a few longer short form series, but in those cases it's not that crazy, and it starts getting into the long territory at that point. But for these ones, I'm talking about the ones that are like 3 volumes or 2 volumes or 1 volume. There is plenty of ones that are great, and I could go on listing them, but that's not the point of this video. This video is me talking about the pros and the cons. Now then, the cons and the pros are essentially as follows. The pros. Let's start with the good stuff. 1, it's easier on your wallet. You can buy a single volume. You can fucking buy Sandland, which I have somewhere around here. Sandland, which is a 1-volume series by Akira Toriyama, that is only a single volume, and you will get the whole entire story that he has crafted, and you get a pretty interesting, cool story. That's also another interesting pro to it, because you can have weirder stories with a shorter manga. You don't have to have the great like long staying power. You can do weird ass shit in like 3 volumes, which is essentially like maybe, I want to say like 12 to 15 chapters, depending on how you like place it within it. That being said, it also just makes it easier. Granted, I've completed plenty of short form series that are like 1 to 2 to 3. There's also ones that are like 5, but again, there are plenty of good examples of that, like Sandland. There's also one that I got from Hirokoshi. I think that's the mangaka of My Hero. That is like a retelling of Prince and the Pauper, which is crazy and weird. I got one about like ghost hunting that's like 3 volumes. Like, you can have plenty of weird situations. Also, like romance ones. I have plenty of romance mangas. Like, where's one? Where is one that is... Oh, Goodbye to My Rose Garden, right? Yes! I remember the name of the manga, which is a shorter, condensed romance story and definitely has better pacing at points. Granted, the pacing is one of the cons. One, you can have a perfectly paced short series, but unfortunately there's also times where it feels like the mangaka didn't want to have it as that short. For instance, Samurai 8. Samurai 8 is a 5-volume series by the creator of Naruto. It definitely was not going to be a short form series, with it only culminating in 5 volumes. The first 4 volumes are pretty great, and the first half of the 5th volume is pretty great. It's setting up a lot of what is needed. Unfortunately, it got canned, and that's the way of the world sometimes. You can't expect people to buy all of your manga, and as a result, got canned. Is really short, 5 volumes, and it suffers from that. It shows like he has all these ideas, and then all of a sudden you have to sprint to the fucking end and not really get as good of quality. So sometimes it feels like you could have a longer story with them. Definitely. Like, I think I finished reading this last month, Ghostly Things. Ghostly Things is a great 3 manga series. It also feels like it can go on for longer. It definitely feels as if they had a plot and definitely have a things that can be added on if they ever decide to continue with this series, but it's short and it definitely has the feeling that it could go longer and it could be much greater than it is, but it doesn't need to in some situations. It just feels like in some of these manga that they could have gone on for at least twice the length, 3 times the length, and it suffers from that because even the Prince and the Pauper one, I think it's called Astro. I do believe that's that. It's only a 2-volume series, and you definitely could have it go on longer than that. It definitely feels as if you could have it continue on for at least another like 30 volumes with the setting that it is in. Granted, I don't think he had that plan because he's fucking working on My Hero Academia and he's probably getting more than enough money from that. So it is more along those lines that you could have the stories work. Also, just thought of another pro. You could have a short like little series that is a side story. For instance, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? They had a 6-volume series about one of the characters in it that is great. You find out a little bit more backstory about her and how she got to where she is. So there is plenty of pros and cons in shorter manga series. But what about longer ones? Now, longer ones have an interesting dynamic with how they are made. Granted, in certain situations, they are fantastic and will definitely lead to a lot of different points or thought processes being brought up. Mainly like One Piece. The world building in One Piece are fantastic. Like, it's fucking great. You get a sense of what it is like living in this world. And that's the first pro of long form manga, or any stories really, is that you get a better understanding of the world and the laws and the nature of being within that world. You get the sense that you are living, that it is a living and breathing world and not just a short little chunk of it. Granted, in some long form series, which is a sort of con, they don't expand on it. Like, I think that's actually in any sort of things where people do not want to expand on the world as much. Granted, that does make it feel a little bit flat, but with longer form manga, you can get the better world building that you can in a shorter form. Though, again, in some shorter forms, they do excellent world building. It's just a strange thing. It mostly boils down to how good the mangaka are at building the world. And in some cases, it's a fantastic world building. You also get more plot development, more character development in a longer form. By the end of One Piece, because that's the best way to explain like a longer form story that has 90 fucking volumes. As a result, you hit to be with these characters longer, you understand their motivations more, and you understand why they're doing the things that they're doing in better situations. Also, they grow and adapt. They slowly become better at explaining themselves as well as being within the world. The world reacts to them eventually. So, definitely good points. Also, you can have better explanations of certain villains. Like, you can have the better versions of how the villains are reacting to the heroes. Granted, in some situations they don't really say that, but you can. And then it's just about the longer form ones are usually more about being able to fit more detail, more breath into the body of the fucking work. But the cons are, even in certain situations, if you are in an awesome fucking setting where everything is going great, everything is fine, it will probably have some boring parts. Granted, I haven't read all of One Piece, so I don't know if that's a good example, but a good example would be probably Bleach. Bleach started off great. Bleach is one of those situations where most people are like, the first part of Bleach, fantastic. The other parts of Bleach, not so much. It is a situation of sometimes the mangaka doesn't have a good idea how to continue on the story at that point, or it just peters out, or any number of reasons. Granted, this is a problem with any person creating stories, and that is just an unfortunate thing. Most cases, I would just say take a break, look back, think about what you're doing, and just, think about something else. And, not every arc within a manga is going to be like 10 out of 10 would recommend everyone read this arc. Granted, like, one of my favorite series, Berserk. Berserk, the opening arc is okay. Especially if you go back and reread it, you definitely understand what Guts is going through, especially after the Golden Age arc. Which is a good way to explain my next point, is that sometimes the pro is that rereadability after you get through a certain point and you now know where the ending is going. You can see certain characters and how they're reacting and why they did the things that they did. So, awesome point right there is that you can pick up details that were being foreshadowed along the way. Granted, some shorter manga can do that. Granted, it's not great. It's not as not. I didn't mean not great. I mean more like not as impactful. So yeah. There's another point that I wanted to. Oh yeah. One pro for the shorter one that I just remembered. If it's a romance one, you don't have to sit there for as long for them to get together, and then God, just fucking talk. It's a shorter thing. As a result, you can get the stupid fucking romance out of the way. But in the longer one, this is a con for me. They drag it out. They fucking drag that out. Granted, in some cases that's fine. In other cases, god damn it, I fucking hate it. So, yeah. I think I've gotten all my points down. Yeah, I'm trying to walk off screen again. So, that's the end. What are your opinions on the pros and cons of long and short manga? I really would like to know. I want to hear everyone else's opinions on this sort of topic, because it's a very weird topic that I thought about at 5 a.m. with a little bit of sleep deprivation. It's just the way of being an adult. It's what I tell myself. But that over time. So, yeah. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. It's a thing that I just randomly thought about. And also, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, think about hitting the like button. If you didn't dislike this, if you did dislike this video, think about hitting the dislike button or hitting the like button. It's right next to it. You know, throw yourself off every once in a while. If you want to see more of my face, hit that subscribe button. It is right below or above. I can't remember where that button is, but you'll find it. It's red. If you, like I said before, if you had a thought or opinion on it, leave a comment down below about what your thoughts of longer form and shorter form. Granted, like I said this like a little bit, shorter one, the easiest one to say for a pro. Cheaper. Con for the longer one, more expensive. Yeah, I should have just put that in there, but at the end. Yeah. So I think that's it. Yeah. I might be doing something next week. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't planned anything else for it. I have a week. I'll plan ahead. I say this before I don't. So, I hope that you have a lovely day, week, month, year, whatever. You stay safe, read manga, go outside, look at that sun. It burns. But, that's it. Bye.